Zach LaVine today said where there is smoke, there is fire. He was, when asked about the trade rumors this offseason, said that he actually did believe a couple of them could happen. Where there's smoke, there's fire, but he is committed to be here, and the team is committed to him. He's still here. So what do you think about that? Where do you think Zach was likely to be traded to, or maybe? Because when he said where there's smoke, where there's fire, the first trade that went into my mind was the New York trade. Because I do think they're stupid enough to do that.
I see, but the New York trade for the Bulls, there's still just not enough there. And I mean, I guess they're one of the few teams that does have the salaries and some picks, mostly protected from other teams, that could potentially get that deal done. I can't imagine that Zach's really thrilled. But at the same time, he's already got his bag, and I'm pretty sure he's got a trade kicker. So if he gets traded, not only does he get to go to a new situation that probably appreciates him more than the fan base and everybody in Chicago right now, but he gets more money in the process. So I don't know that being traded for Zach is necessarily this horrible thing. He might actually prefer it to the alternative right now. But at the end of the day, throwing on a Bulls jersey is still one of the biggest branding moves in all of sports because of what MJ laid down here. That jersey will be iconic, will sell, and the opportunities for making extra money while you're here will also be there. So I'm sure it's a double-edged sword for him. I'm sure he wants to win here. I'm sure he wants to be here to an extent because all the things that I just said, what comes with wearing that jersey. We are a phenomenal fan base, even if we turned on you on a dime at the same time. But he has to want to be here for his brand, but at the same time, I don't think he's scared of going anywhere else.
Yeah, I don't think he cares about it anymore. I think that was really important to him for a little bit. Now I don't. He got, like you said, he's financially secured and stuff like that. I just thought it was funny. Like he said, where there was smoke, there was fire. So somewhere, some way, he thought he might have been actually getting moved, no matter what the reports were.
Between the Portland, whether it was Dame or whether it was the number 3 overall pick, Zach really is the one piece on this team that if a team values him enough, that the Bulls could get a decent asset for. You can't say that for most of the rest of the roster. A lot of the guys can't even be traded on newly signed contracts. So you're really down to like Caruso, Zach, Pat, and DeMar that can be traded and moved to make these kind of improvements. And Zach should have the most value out of all of them because of his age, because of his production, and because of the length of his contract, not so much the number, but the years of control on his deal should be the piece that the Bulls could get the most for. And I guess as a fan, you should at least be a little intrigued by the fact that he is confirming that there was a little bit of spark to that smoke. That it is true that his name is being tossed out there. I mean, and if you're a fan that wants him to stay, obviously you're glad that he's still here despite that smoke. But just the fact that he is somewhat readily available to teams if the offer is right was all but confirmed today.
Yeah, that was wild to me because I really thought they were mum was the word on that the whole time, and I thought you and I had considered it all smoke when they didn't move him when we thought they were going to, because we've been around. We've seen things like this play out where the player eventually does get moved, especially when his name was popping up as frequently as Zach's was, but they stayed committed to him. That whole situation is kind of weird.